Welcome to the Built Different podcast. Let's get it. Welcome everybody to the Built Different podcast. This is the first episode of the high and inside edition to the podcast. I'm going to be joined by three co-hosts who are going to be sure to bring the heat. They're definitely built different, I'll tell you that much. And you're gonna see all of them in a moment here. So let's meet the crew. Starting with me. My name is obviously Thomas Saxby. Well, not obviously, but my name is Thomas Saxby. Favorite team, Washington Nationals. We're currently the best team in the league right now. I'm checking out those prospects. Favorite baseball moment, definitely winning the World Series. I mean, what other moment is there to really talk about in the Nationals history besides that one?
The one.
Favorite ball player now, Papa Julio Rodriguez. And favorite player then, Alex Rodriguez. All right. So, Ricky, what's up? Introduce yourself, man.
What's happening, y'all? It's Ricky Mickey II. It's a play on my real name. We'll get into that later. I'm not fighting no cases, but, that's just a thing I like to, throw out there. Favorite team is the Gang, the Evil Empire. You could cue the Darth Vader music. You already know what it is. It's the Yanks. I'll get it in a little later. Favorite player of all time. It may seem wild. Well, not all time. Favorite player currently is my boy Shohei. Just what can you say about the man? We all never seen anything like him. I could wax poetic about the man all day, all night. Pause. Favorite player of all time is Alex Rodriguez. Same thing. And yeah, man, my favorite baseball moment, I know I did it in a little different order, was when Derek Jeter hit that home run and the 12-year-old caught it. Well, he hit that double and that 12-year-old caught it and made it a home run. I believe it was against the Orioles. Tony Tarasco was mad as hell. Oh, well, hopefully he got over it. And I'm here, man. BDP gang. Let's go.
Sounds good, Ricky. I'll take it over. There's only one problem. I'm a fan of the better team in New York right now. It's Thomas Wolfie coming at you guys. Mets fan here. Papa's a Mets fan, Mama's a Mets fan, brother's a Mets fan, so I'm a Met fan. That being said, I love all baseball. My favorite player currently is actually Max Scherzer. Funny thing is he's actually been my favorite player since years past. Now that he's on the Mets, even better. My all-time favorite player is Griffey was up there, but I actually think I'm going to go with the great Bambino, Babe Ruth. Babe Ruth is actually one of my favorite players ever. That being said, too, my favorite moment is going to actually go back to the Mets. 2015, August. Mets are going to go to the World Series that year, but we didn't know that at the time. We're playing the Nationals, Saxby, your team. Grandy comes up, home run, barely gets into the dugout. Murphy, home run, barely gets into the dugout. Cespedes single, Duda home run. I was there in person. It was great. But you know what?
Oh, wow.
The Mets fans also like one other team right now. Twitter battle going on, and that's with the Red Sox. And I think the best person to take that over is you, Chris.
Chris Voit, a.k.a. Not So White Chris. That's the tag on the social. I'm also from New York, but I'm from upstate New York. So I'm a Red Sox fan. Favorite moment of all time, 2018 World Series, Game 1. Sale Kershaw. I was in Section 13. Versus Kershaw got rocked. Pinch hit, Devers for Eduardo Nunez. Eduardo Nunez hits the golf swing. Home run to win the game. Best moment of my life. Favorite player of all time? Manny Ramirez. Legend. Current best player? I'd say is Xander Bogaerts. And I'll also say that if the Red Sox trade him, I'll be very disappointed if they don't sign him as well. I'll be very disappointed. I was disappointed in Mookie Betts being, just given to Dodgers. But what I'll also say is I'm kind of disappointed
Y'all trade
that
Devers
Saxby.
instead. Don't worry.
I'm kind of upset that Saxby just gave up on his favorite players of all time. We all thought it was Soto. And then now it's Rodriguez. But
all right, first off, let's all give a round of applause to Chris's outfit.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Came
Oh
in
yeah.
clutch.
Jeez Louise. This is it. You can't go back now. This is it.
So what I'm gonna say, let's just get right down to it. Steroids or no steroids? Ricky.
A yes and a no, bro. And I say that because, um, I mean, considering we all were of youth during the steroid era and how much joy it brought all of us, like, I mean, we could talk about McGuire and Sosa and all the known ones, but I'm talking like Geronimo Barrera out of nowhere hitting 36 home runs, Brady Anderson's 50, like Luis Gonzalez 57. Like, it was just a crazy moment in time where it was like you don't know who was going off. Ken Caminiti, God rest his soul. Like, it was just a wild era, and I'm sure the pitchers were also juicing too. Now, at that same token, it's a double-edged sword because I got burned by a motherfucker on steroids during the the Diamondback Yankees World Series when, of all things, the guy on juice hits a dinky dunk base hit over Derek Jeter's head over on Mariano Rivera. Like, you couldn't play out the bullshit more. Like, if anything, hit a 500-foot home run. You know what I'm saying? Man up. Don't hit no 30-mile-per-hour exit velocity like pitch over my man's head and then Greg Counsell coming in, running and crying and folding his arms over his teammate like a little bitch. Like, disgusting. So yeah, I got a love-hate relationship with steroids, but I guess for the most part I'm cool with it. Like, the chicks dig the long ball.
All right. So, my opinion, steroids or no steroids. I say steroids all the way, baby. Now, here's why I say that. Here's why. I don't really mean, let's sit here and take steroids. Everyone should take steroids. But we have to understand what PEDs really gave the sport, and that is another chance. Let's be realistic here. Now, baseball was turning into what everyone, well, not everyone, but what half the world says today, very boring, hard to get into. But during those times, it was worse. It was a lot worse. Baseball, I think, was on the verge of going, not extinct, but, out of business, maybe in some way, shape, or form. But then you had guys whose arms were bigger than my entire body. You had Barry Bonds. You had, Mark McGuire. You had Sammy Sosa. We all remember those battles between those two. We had Barry Bonds just shitting on every pitch that came his way, or he was walked. Especially with the bases loaded, he was getting walked. How is that not entertaining? So
Jason Giambi looked like this in his jersey. Like,
literally, and think about what it gave us. It gave us, like, look at some of these names that have taken steroids and gotten caught, like Francisco Cervelli, Cameron Maybin, Henry Mejia, all those
wow,
big
yeah.
names. No, I'm just kidding. But but it really
Giants
gave
in the
us
game.
moments. Like, we had angry ass Alex Rodriguez getting punched in the face by Jason Varitek, and we had, like, epic meltdowns. We had Roger Clemens throwing broken bats at people. We had Barry Bonds literally going to court to tell everyone that he didn't take steroids when everybody in the world knew it was true. It was entertaining. It gave baseball life again. I can't, and come on, 50 home runs from guys like, I don't know, name an irrelevant guy again, Ricky.
Brady Anderson.
50 home runs from someone named Brady Anderson is
Brady
fucking epic.
Anderson, dog. Like, what the fuck?
Brody.
It's
That was
epic.
crazy.
It's great to see. It was great TV, and now obviously it wouldn't be a good thing because there's suspensions and stuff in place now. But nonetheless, it gave me two of my favorite players of all time, Alex Rodriguez and Manny Ramirez. Alex Rodriguez, the most popular dickhead of all time, and then Manny Ramirez, he just wanted to play baseball and he just wanted to be good at it forever. So
hell yeah.
that's
You
what
guys
I
know what
got.
that
I
was?
think you're up
Do
next.
you know what
Wolf.
that was? Do you know what that was, real quick? That's Alex Rodriguez slapping the ball out of the glove.
All right,
Oh, jeez Louise.
I'm gonna come
That-
in and be the.
That had to have been the words.
I was gonna be kind of in the middle here because I do hear what you're saying, Saxby, and I agree with that. If you're gonna let it go, let it go. But I'm actually gonna come on with the iron fist on the other side. I'm actually
Uh-oh.
going to be against steroids in play. The only time I'll actually say steroids or HGH or anything around that sort of substance that should be legal is if someone's actually trying to heal themselves. Because then it's actually almost kind of recommended by a doctor. You can get some sort of injection, some sort of cream, something to help you actually heal better to get back. Now,
Andy
what
Pettit.
Robinson Cano as an example, I know you're going to come there. I know Yankee fan over there. But I don't know if everybody that's actually done it has done it in the legal way. But if someone, say, like DeGrom, one of the best pitchers in baseball, is hurt, if there's some sort of substance that he can put on his shoulder, his arm, that actually makes him feel better, a little injection that right now might not be legal, that I'm okay for. The only reason I'm not okay for necessarily the injections for legal use or steroids or pills or whatever is because if you have someone like Aaron Judge hitting almost 66 home runs, about to break Roger Maris's record if he could do it at the end of the season, on pace for it. It's like someone you take Barry Bonds. Don't get me wrong, great player. He was actually a Hall of Famer before he started taking steroids. It kind of takes away from the players that can do it in a natural way. So it's not. I'm not saying I'm not against it. If the whole league came, if the whole league is kind of like the DH, I'm a National League fan. If they came and said, "All right, that's a thing," in a safe medical way, I'm good for it. But in the long run, like I kind of like with every sport, I'd rather keep the substance out of it unless there's an absolute need for that to, like, if batters can't actually catch up to a fastball, then I can understand it. But for right now, I'm going to take the hard fist and say no to steroids. With that being said, Chris, you started it off, so take it away for the end.
And I'll just say, Everth Cabrera disagrees with you, Wolfie.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I think half of the
That is a name.
potential Hall of Famers disagree with me. So
Rafael Palmeiro right now is like
Alex Rodriguez is
pointing his finger somewhere.
Dude,
I mean, but what about Pete Rose? Pete Rose
like,
cheated a different way, and he got penalized for it.
Good call.
Oh, free that man. No, lock him up in real life, but free that man.
No, that's fair. That's fair. But I'm gonna say, all right. Here's my thing. I'm kind of on both sides. I would say, one, if you say no steroids, but then you still wanna, I'm just gonna kind of go off of what you guys said, okay? 'Cause I'm just gonna switch it up here. So, Wolfie, you said that if a player was injured, you would let them use steroids, right? But that then creates an uneven playing field. So what if that player then, just keeps continuing to use steroids under radar, but he's like, I just came back from this injury, and then, that could just be one cycle that the player uses it. But on the other side, I'm saying if you have steroids, you have to just make it an even playing field. Pitchers, catchers, whatever position they play, they should be able to use it. But you have to regularize it. Like, you have to, only able to use it during the off season or something. But if you do that, you also have to change the rules of the game, right? Because suddenly the pitcher is way too close to people who are juiced up. They're throwing the balls faster than ever. A lot of the average velocity is increased. So
110.
So what happens then?
Oh, nah, we ain't never getting that.
Do you put the pitchers behind one of those L's? The L screens? Do you put the
that just hurt my
L
arm.
screen? And you just like that's the danger in it. So
because if they ever introduced an L screen, I'd laugh my ass off forever.
The L screen.
No, for real.
Mean, but then if you also had the L screen, you'd have to bring in, you bring the pitcher back probably, I don't know,
you go to
10 feet maybe, 10 feet, 7 feet,
an
extra player. You'd have to get the stadiums to be probably bigger, so that way, a home run is now minimum 425 or whatever the case may be. I don't know. They would have to be a lot of change would have to happen. So in that case, I would never say that steroids would ever be legal, because how everyone has just evolved. Like, the athletes are more athletic than they were 20 years ago, and we see it all across the sports, right? Can we all agree there? So I don't know. I rather than pick a side of no steroids or steroids, I would just say, there'll probably never be a time where steroids are completely legal. And if baseball was open to that, it'd be some crazy ass shit.
There you
Yeah,
go.
I'm just going back to Thomas talking about 110. That made my elbow hurt just hearing that shit. Oh my god. I need Tommy
Listen,
John just from hearing that shit.
I know we're gonna come back to the subject, but I'm just gonna say one more thing, right? And maybe this will get you guys to believe in steroids. Think about D. Gordon. Are we all thinking about D. Gordon?
Slap
Now
hitter.
think
Yep.
about D.
D
Gordon hitting 50
Strange
home
Gordon to
runs.
you, sir.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Now imagine him with 50 home runs. Isn't that amazing?
That's a little
So it's
disgusting.
almost too amazing.
I'd
Yo,
probably get a
unbelievable.
30 for 30, or he'd get like.
I
I
think he
would say,
weighed.
sir, are you going to live past the age of 50?
I think
Yo,
I think if that
I think
happens though, there's
he.
still players that don't take steroids after all. Like, there's just some like let's not even talk about COVID, but look at the vaccine. Some of the players in the Royals going to go to the. I mean, each team's had that case where they've gone to Toronto, they haven't had players come, but who's to say if there was steroids legally across the like as a rule that they could use it, who would actually use it versus who would use it, But then again, imagine Aaron Judge on steroids this year.
Nah, that's insane. The only thing you know what I just thought about this, like steroids. That D Gordon imagination I had was crazy. I'm like, yo, he had to weigh 150. How he gonna hit 50? That's insane. But I'm like, what if we found out Ichiro was on roids? That would break my heart a little bit. I'm not even gonna lie to y'all. It would break my heart a little bit. It would break my
Ichiro
heart
on
a little bit.
steroids is a funny ass imagination. Because he might, honestly,
It's scary.
he would probably be a person to hit 100 home runs because of the contact he made with the ball. So,
Oh my gosh. Oh yeah.
It'd be a
Like
different story.
but
he probably
let's
get
go ahead.
he probably get 1,000 doubles too. Just if you know what I mean. If he's not hitting home runs, like he's gap to gap all the time, like all day, and then he's stealing. I don't know how many bases on the top of that. He probably create the greatest baseball player to ever live in a lab. If he was to juice up.
His arm would be better. That's
Oh my gosh, I didn't think about that part. Oh
all
my god.
right. On that note, we're gonna take a quick break. We'll be right back.
Go.
And we are back live here in the studio, 4 different studios, whatever you want to call it. And we're here to talk this time about the trade deadline. So we're going to go around the horn and we're going to pick 2 winners and 2 losers, but we're going to exclude the Padres because we're going to talk about that, sadly, in a second. So we'll go first with the 2 teams that I think are winners. The first one being the Seattle Mariners. Now, the reason why I say the Seattle Mariners is because, obviously, Luis Castillo. And that's really what they needed to do was get a top starting pitcher. They needed to add some. Damn, it's weird that I'm calling Luis Castillo a veteran, but yeah, they needed like a veteran arm that's pitched for a little bit, and also a guy that can show up in big games. I'm not. He played for the Reds, so he didn't play too many big games. But from what I remember, he did have a lot of good performances against good teams, and I think that's exactly what the Mariners need. They need one more arm. They got it, and so far he's doing the job. And the other winner, I know a few of you won't agree with me, but I'm taking the New York Yankees. Now, hear me out. Hear me out. You can't play Aaron Hicks at all. You just can't. I'm sorry. I am like, if I'm a Yankees fan, I'm putting the big X up on Aaron Hicks. The Aaron Hicks era is over. You guys need Harrison Bader. When he comes back, I'm pretty positive Yankees fans are going to be very thankful that they got him in the first place. And I think he's dealing with plantar fasciitis, whatever the case may be. He's going to be back, and he's going to be good for the Yankees. I understand you guys got rid of one of your starting pitchers, but think of who you just got. You got Frankie Montas. You guys needed a dog in that starting rotation because It's Garrett Cole, an injured Severino, and a bunch of guys that are 3 through 5 guys, but you need another. Oh, and Cortez. I always forget about Cortez. But you guys needed another guy that could come in and scare the shit out of whoever he's facing, and that's Montas. He speaking of steroids, he got popped for steroids at one point in time. He's a dog.
Oh,
Um,
oh my
anyway,
God. I think he did,
as for
yeah.
the
Oh, shit.
as for the losers, the Milwaukee Brewers are number one. You're contending for a whole division title, and you basically kind of gave away the deadline. I mean, I think we can all agree with that the Brewers completely they're just like, whatever. Just take Hater, whatever. I mean, they got Taylor Rogers in return, but are we really going to sit here and say you'd rather have Taylor Rogers over Josh Hader? So I don't know. I think for a team that's competing for a division title, I think they should have done way more. At least make one big splash, huge splash. And the other one is the Astros. I don't feel like they did enough. I mean, maybe they didn't need to do so much. Maybe Trey Mancini is exactly what was the only thing needed, but I think in this dogfight that they're going to be in with the Yankees, I understand the Yankees are struggling, but the Yankees will be fine. They will be back. That is what I think, and I think the Astros needed to do more so that they can guarantee the win against the Yankees, and I just don't feel like they did that. But I love Trey Mancini. All right, Ricky.
All right.
This.
Let's get to my winner. Listen, to me, it's not even so much about the big moves. To me, it's you want to, you got a baseball team, you got 25, you got 40-man rosters. What you really want is to have a team that could apply death by 1,000 cuts. And Wolf is gonna love this answer. The Mets won the deadline, and they did it without adding any big, they were linked to Wilson Contreras. They were linked to a few of the starting pitchers. But for them to go out and identify, we need more pop in this lineup. And they go out and get, right now he's taking New York by storm. Like, Vogie can get a free drink anywhere right now. He's freaking amazing. He fits, like, it's almost like he should have always been a Met. Tyler Naquin is another just at bat that he's gonna grind you to bits. Like, even if he doesn't get on base, it's like he's a pain. He's a pain. You can't just get rid of him. And to pick up Darren Ruff, who absolutely kills lefties, it's like the platoon between him and Vogie is just, it's almost like you made one slugger from left and right, like a switch hitting 50 homer guy or something like that. So I think they absolutely won the deadline. I think I actually like what the Astros did. They went out, they identified that they needed some length in their lineup. My man Yuri is not hitting like he did when he won the batting title, or even years prior. I don't know what happened to him. He just fell off a cliff. And Trey's hit the ground running for them. And they've also, if I'm not mistaken, they acquired another starting pitcher. Was it Jake Odorizzi? No. He went to the Braves.
They traded him away.
Yeah, they traded him away. They acquired some other. Yeah, right. And they needed they needed the relief more than they needed the starting pitcher, because they're loaded. They go about 6 deep. He's not feeling it.
Will Smith sucks.
Well, usually all you got to do is come out. If they need to get a big lefty bat out, they don't need him for 3 outs. They may just need him for 1 guy, and he's still capable of getting lefties out. Righties kill him, but Will Smith is still a dog against other-sided batters against him. So those are my winners, excluding the Pods, of course. And my losers is where I disagree with you. I would have had the Yankees as a winner when we got Montas, when we went and picked up Benny from KC, and I was, you know what I mean? I'm feeling great about myself. I'm like, oh shit, we ready to make this run, and we just totally. Maybe I didn't have a pulse on the locker room, but us trading Montgomery for Bader was gut wrenching for me, because the year that Bader was having, all things considered, and he's hurt, we could have gave up less for him. We could have gave them a prospect or something like that. Maybe Clark Smith and a few other arms or a bat, whatever they wanted. You know, we could have did a 2 for 3 as far as that. I didn't think trading Montgomery was necessary because also I don't have a lot of trust in Severino. I don't have a lot of trust in Cole. So I figured Montas was supposed to add to what we had, and now you know what I mean. I feel like we made a lateral move, and you know, Plantar Fasciae, as you mentioned, for a speed guy bothers me. Like if we're talking about a big hulking guy that can still get in there and hit home runs and cool, but we need his athleticism, and if he's not right, then that move is not going to benefit us till really next season. So I'm like, eh. And then the other loser is the Cubs. Like, what the fuck were y'all doing? Not trading Wilson Contreras. Like, he's a free agent. He could have. Y'all need to replenish that farm. It's trash. Like, simply put, y'all needed to move him. And we all know what happened tonight regarding him. Thanks to Chris letting us know what was the deal with old buddy. And then yeah, I toast it to the next one. Those my two winners and losers.
You severely overrate Jordan Montgomery, but yeah, let's go Wolf.
I think Harrison Beta is severely overrated too, to some degree.
I mean, you get Harrison Bader back healthy, and you got a guy that controls literally the whole center field, so you don't have to play Aaron Judge there ever again. And you also get a guy who has pop in his bat at a very small stadium.
Absolutely.
And you gave up Jordan Montgomery, who's literally put together, you know, looking at his stats here, he's there isn't a year that I sit here and look at and say, wow, that's a guy I want starting in the postseason for sure, absolutely, definitely, Jordan Montgomery, baby. I just don't.
You wouldn't understand. You wouldn't understand. What I don't even think he needs to be over or underrated. What I like is to give the ball to a pitcher and know what I'm getting from him. Like with Jordan, I know I'm gonna get my 5 to 6. He's gonna give up 2 to 3, and we can go from there. He's not gonna implode. His metronome is steady, and in the playoffs, that's all I want. I want to know what's gonna happen. Garrett Cole is a guy that could throw a shutout in the playoffs, and he could also give up 8 runs in the first inning. Like what the, you know what I mean? That bothers me. With Jordan, I knew what I was getting. You know what I mean? And I could move from there. But now, I really don't know. I know what the potential could be for this rotation, but I really don't know what's gonna happen. And you see, we're kind of, I don't know what's going on with us right now. We're kind of imploding at the moment. Dodger fans are kind of on my dick right now over the whole Joey Gallo trade. They really think that's the reason why. I'm glad none of you guys are LA fans. Like, oh my god, it would be real like East Coast West Coast Pac Biggie beef right now. Like I'd be sick to death of y'all. But yeah, man, you got to be in. You have to be an insider to know what Montgomery was giving us, man. He was just steady, man. He didn't implode a lot.
And
he
that's
was just
listen,
very
man.
Steady.
That's for sure the truth. But like and this will be my last thought about it. I mean, when I sit here and I look at the Yankees rotation and I see Garrett Cole, Frankie Montas, Nestor Cortez, and then most likely Luis Severino, and then wow, Jameson Tyone, he's a thing.
No, he's another one that could give me 7.
That's 5 right there. That's 5 right there. That's gonna push Montgomery to number 6, and it was the Yankees needed a starting center fielder that could say that they play center field and it not be Aaron Hicks. If he's injured for the rest of the year and he sucks, you got it. But that's something we're gonna have to wait and see.
I feel like we paid $1 for a 75-cent candy. Put it that way. Like we gave a little tip. Starting pitching is more important than a starting center fielder in the playoffs. No one can ever convince me otherwise. I would have put Benintendi in center if it came down to it. But not that I like it that much.
That's wicked.
Yeah, not that I like that much. But I would have, if it came down to it. Look, we could have got Beta without including Montgomery. That's my only thing. We didn't have to include him in that deal. Yo,
Wolfie, you're up, man.
All right, so Ricky, you kind of already took my thunder, so I'm going to kind of package a little things. First off, just a quick talk about the Mets, and then I'll package the other two. The Mets, at first, I didn't think won the trade deadline. I mean, there are things I didn't like about it, about the bullpen, but we still did get back Gibbons for Holderman. Holderman was a good piece, but let's be honest, he only had 19 games pitched. I don't even think he had 18 innings overall. It was just like a start here or a relief here and there. But they have Vogelback now, Naquin now, Ruff now, and all those guys together are first in the MLB in average since acquiring those guys at the DH spot, and second in OPS at a 936 OPS. So basically, they're just going off and they're playing the matchups where it's one guy hits against righties, one guy hits against lefties, one guy might go in the outfield against lefties, like Naquin. Canna might start the next day. So while they might not have went out and got a bullpen piece, they still acquired the bats that they needed to replace J.D. Davis and Dom Smith. Plus, they also get McGill back, May back, and it's kind of helped out with the team so far. Plus, DeGrom coming back, you already had a good starting rotation to begin with David Peterson coming in for spot starts. So you didn't really need more pieces
Like
there
him.
with pitching wise, and he's been great. I'm actually surprised we kept him. I'm glad we kept him just in case someone goes down. Plus, if you also need a lefty in the bullpen going forward into the playoffs, you have him.
Now,
So,
doesn't that sound familiar?
so that
Keeping a solid lefty
yeah. So
in
all
your
right.
rotation?
So think about that for my next point. Or for my later point. But my next win, then my second one overall. But I'll package another team with it. But I'll quick say it. My winner at the trade deadline is actually going to be the Baltimore Orioles, and I'll say why. The Baltimore Orioles had two guys, Trey Mancini, which let's be honest, unless they're going to give him a big contract, which they always can do in the offseason coming up or years later. I mean, not a big one, but at least bring him back. They could bring back Trey Mancini. He wasn't going to stay there now. They could go to the playoffs, but if not, whatever, they can get guys back. So they traded him, got players back. Then they also traded Pablo Lopez, who at times was a starter and didn't work out so well. So they actually turned him into reliever. Did great, is having a fantastic season. So let's trade him, bring back prospects. Two players you traded, bring back prospects. But you also had a guy in the bullpen that stepped right up and took over the closer position and is doing lights out as well. Plus, you're also now 6 games over 500, third in the division, which is up there. I mean, you're beating, what is it? Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay, you're tied with, and Boston, you're beating in the division. Plus, after trading
That's
guys
amazing.
and bringing more back. So let's be honest. I think they are one of the winners of the trade deadline. You traded guys away, are still doing better. They were 7-1 at one point after these trades. So, yes, I think Baltimore is a winner. Now, to go to the quick two losers, it's the Yankees. I do think are losers, and I don't mean losers in a bad way. I think they made good moves bringing in Benintendi, but there's two reasons why I think they're losers. They lost out on Luis Castillo, and while I don't want to say Montas is bad, he is a good acquisition. Let's just put that first game aside.
We
But
never had a chance.
and that's the thing. It's like, but there was
We
so much
wasn't
hype
getting
around
Luis.
it, and you weren't going to trade those top guys, and you weren't going to trade those top guys for Soto anyway. But that's a different story. So let's not talk about Soto for or Castillo for Montas, but they weren't getting that, so you weren't getting the starting pitching that you apparently needed. So you got Montas, whatever. But then you traded Montgomery, and before anybody talks about Hicks or speed or defense. I think people forget LeCastro's there still. It was a trade you didn't need to make. It was like someone was like, they offered you like like it's like the GM just threw out it's like, do you want it? Okay, we'll take it. It's like, why? You didn't need to do that. Like, okay, you got Benintendi, you got rid of Gallo, but like, it was just a trade you didn't need to make. So like overall, like, did they improve? I guess maybe. I mean, if you really break it down. So we'll talk about that
Yeah.
for the losers. And then a
Yeah.
quick wrap it up is the
Yeah.
Cubs. You also brought it up with the Cubs, but I'm also, since you brought up the Cubs, I'm also going to package the Cubs and Detroit. And I'm also going to package Miami
Hmm.
in there as well. These are teams that are out of it. The one team I should actually almost put in the winners is the Reds, because these teams were out of it and didn't trade away. The Reds did. The Pirates actually did, but they kept their good guys. But these teams didn't have like players they needed to keep, and they didn't do anything with them. Soto, I can understand keeping him, but Chafin, um, I mean Baez, obviously you're going to keep Contreras, Hap, even Jesus Aguilar. There's just guys that they had that they could have got rid of, and they just didn't get rid of any of them. And it's like,
Patrick Wisdom.
you're out of it. It's like
Throw it.
so like it's like I said, the Orioles, they actually were kind of in it, got rid of guys, and got better. These teams were not even really in it, kept their guys, are worse, and now have nothing for the next season. So it's a very fine line. I know we have more teams in the playoffs, so there's that hope. But at the same time, you also got to be realistic. If you're not getting into the playoffs, if you have teams like Philly and the Braves just knocking over the division and pushing the Miami down, Miami, what are you doing? Trade these guys. So at the end of the day, the teams that didn't trade and should have are the losers, and the teams that traded enough but didn't kill themselves are the winners. So that being said, I don't even know if I would put them in winners or losers, which is the Boston Red Sox. So Chris, take it away.
I mean, I'm just gonna say this as a Red Sox fan, definitely losers because we've had a chance to make the playoffs this year, and you just gave up on the year, you know. But I will say they did do right by They did do right by Vasquez by trading him to a contender. So he put in 15 years with the Red Sox. So I think
Forgot
you
about
know
him.
that's I think that's also great for him that they did that for him because I like him as a player, I like him as a person. But I would say that honestly, my winners, the Mets, everything you guys said. Obviously, they added great players, but they also kept their best two prospects. They kept Alvarez and they also kept Beatty or Patty, whatever you say, however you say it. They
Beatty.
kept
And
both those
Roney too.
guys and they also made upgrades. So I would say they're the big winners. I would also say my second winner would probably be the Reds because they got the Mariners 1, 3, 5, and 7 prospect, was it, or 9 prospect? So I mean Luis Castillo,
He was good,
I don't
but
know though because Luis Castillo's
he's
he
had
kind of just
moments.
he kind of just played that game against the Yankees a few nights ago or last week where it went into the extra innings and it was the 1-0 walk-off game. I think it was a couple nights
The
ago, right?
13 inning game?
Yeah, it was a couple nights ago, right, where
It was only
they
like
turned a
3 or 4
double play.
nights ago. Yeah,
That game
Hey
had so
Chris,
much
I
crazy
don't.
hype.
They also who is the kid? Tyler Molly, Maley or something like that.
Molly, yeah,
They
Molly,
they
maybe.
also I they also made the Minnesota deal to move him as well. I thought that was smart as well. Good pick. Good pick.
Yep. I also think, if you look at that Mariners Yankees game real quick while we're just talking about it, like that was a playoff game. Like the way that game went into the 13th inning was like, and just the announcers, the way that the announcers were calling the game, and like there was a big double play in the extra innings that the announcer was going crazy. So I would say, I think the Reds did do well. I think both teams did well in that trade, right? You get
Absolutely.
Castillo, who's now, he's in Saxby's gonna laugh, but he's proven that a small market guy can go to contender and make a run. So I love it. I do like what the Reds got back though, and I think my other loser would be, I'm gonna say the Yankees because let's look at what the Dodgers did, right? So maybe I'm picking a third winner, but maybe I'm picking a second loser in the Dodgers because look at Joey Gallo. They got him for little to nothing, and he is just hitting opposite field home runs now. Like, who is this guy? I saw a stat, right? Whenever Joey
He
Gallo
could
started this year,
SMDFTB
he a team that
for the
has Joey
kids that are
Gallo
watching this.
a team that has Joey Gallo in the starting lineup in 162 games this year would be on pace for 125 wins. Just let that sink in. And that's a little shade at Ricky. So,
Um,
All right, that was very extensive. I love that. But We excluded the Padres for a reason. Give me a second.
One last thing though, I think the Dodgers also did make a good trade to get in Martin. So that was also part of the reason why I picked three winners versus, a little shade at Ricky because, Red Sox down year. So gotta get my humor where I can.
I'm a punching bag
Yeah,
right
so
now.
now it's
I'm a
let's
first place
change from
punching bag. That's crazy.
don't worry, I'm the punching bag now, man. Let's talk about the Juan Soto trade and why it gets its own segment and everything. I'll say it's very weird being a Nationals fan. I'm gonna to give a review as a Nationals fan. It's
Take it away.
like of course you guys don't know this. I don't know this either. But imagine you're like a 55-year-old, right? And like you get it up. You guys know what I'm talking about. You get it up just enough to do it, but then it's very exciting. But then you can't get it up again for a while after that, and it's just very underwhelming. And that one good moment you had is just drained by not being able to get it up again. And that's how I feel as a Nationals fan. First and foremost, I loved Juan Soto. I mean, this is a Juan Soto Nationals World Series jersey.
But you
We
switched up.
had next.
No, we really let you
You
slide with that
switched up
wild
on your
ass
favorite player.
analogy.
Like
But
who he said
No, no,
Julio
no.
Rodriguez was
Julio
his favorite
Rodriguez is
player.
my favorite player. Julio Rodriguez is my
I'm
favorite
surprised
player.
he still even has that jersey.
But I still got the Bryce one. I still got Max Scherzer. I still got Trey Turner. I got all those, and then that's kind of what I want to talk about. It's like it sucks because we lose Juan Soto, and that's the last of a long line of very exciting players that we let go. On the other hand, I don't see an issue with the trade besides the moral aspects of it. Like if you look at this trade and you take away the fact that it's Juan Soto, which you can't really take away, but if you take away the fact that Juan Soto is a 23-year-old about to be Babe Ruth, about to break a whole bunch of records and shit, and you just look at it for what it is, players for players, I think the Nationals they got Juan Soto's worth. You can't really put a tag on Juan Soto's worth, but getting 4 first rounders plus Luke Voit plus another pitching prospect that's really good was, in my opinion, a win for the Nationals. If you're gonna get rid of somebody, we messed up when we didn't trade Bryce Harper. We messed up. We had offers for Bryce Harper and we let him walk. Anthony Rendon, I mean, we won a World Series, but we let him walk. Trey Turner and Max Scherzer, I think we got good value out of that. And then turns around, Max Scherzer left the Dodgers to the Mets anyway. And who knows what Trey Turner's going to do this year with the Dodgers.
he's been
I
amazing.
think Mike Rizzo played this perfectly because he's getting word from the owners that are selling the team, like, don't be aggressive. Don't give Juan Soto $500 million, but also don't put it on the owners to trade him. And I think we accomplished everything we needed to. And in the future, if things go well again for the Nationals, and again, I say again because let's think about what the Nationals were before they were the Nationals. They were the Expos. Let me bring you back to a trade when they traded Cliff Lee, Brandon Phillips, and Grady Sizemore to the Indians, who are now the Guardians, for a half year of Bartolo Colon. If I was an Expos fan at that time, I probably I don't know. I probably wouldn't even be a fan of baseball anymore because that's crazy. The Nationals have yet to make a trade like that. I mean, you could look at the Adam Eaton trade, but then you can also put on top of it that Adam Eaton was a big part of the Nationals winning a World Series, which he was after being injured 3 straight years. But
And he ain't done nothing since.
if things go well, the Nationals are going to have Keeper Ruiz, who is a switch hitting catcher who does have. I know he only has, I think, 6 home runs this year, but he does have a lot of pop in that bat.
I like his bat.
You know, right. And he's a good catcher. Doesn't have a huge arm at catcher, but he knows how to command his pitchers well. We're gonna have Luis Garcia, a phenomenal lefty guy that can play the entirety of the infield. We're gonna have Brady House. He's a dog. C.J. Abrams, basically getting comparisons to Ozzie Smith with just a little bit better of a bat. Robert Hassel III, who is a pure contact hitter,
love him.
who's
I
also developing
love him.
power in his bat.
Love that
He's
kid.
hit a lot of home runs this year. And then we got Elijah Green, who is literally a physical phenom. And then you got James Wood, who's getting, right now, he's getting comparisons to some of the better sluggers that have
Willie
played the
McCovey.
game. And then you look at the pitching, and you got Josiah Gray, Mackenzie Gore, Cade Cavalli, Cole Henry, Jackson Rutledge, Mason Denneberg, Tim Cate, a lot of people. The Nats right now are in a great position. We're going to have the first pick in the draft. I think they're introducing the lottery next year.
Oh,
It sucks, man. My heart's broken. Juan Soto, man. That was my guy. Yeah,
I would
yeah. I switched up. I'll admit it. I switched up. You know,
I would hope they
and
don't
it's
introduce the
sad.
lottery
Watching
next year.
Bryce Harper go,
Y'all get the fifth
watching
pick.
watching Bryce Harper go, watching Max go, watching Trey go, watching Rendon go, watching Jordan Zimmerman go, watching Ian Desmond go.
That would be some national
And then on
love.
top of that, we extended Strasburg and we signed Corbin to a big contract, so we're stuck with those two guys. Whatever, we got a whole bunch of prospects. Let's do it again. Let's do it all over again. Whatever. You're up, Ricky. Tell me about how the Nationals suck.
Oh no no no! I was actually gonna say, you actually can probably fool one contender next season into taking on Steven Strasburg. I think that's the next, that's like the last deal to like completely tear it down. That's the last pillar that needs to be
I
knocked down. Y'all gotta get Strasburg
I
out of
would
there.
love that, but I think Strasburg's only started 6 games in the last
Like 2 years,
three
right?
years.
So I'm saying you can fool someone in the
Three.
taking him on. Probably us. Well, I don't know. We might be stupid enough to do some shit
I
like
can
that.
see that.
But when you first any baseball fan, you hear you open your phone, it's like Juan Soto got traded. It's like, what the fuck are the Nationals doing? Like, da, da, da. But I always said, because I'm a big prospect guy, I only saw about two places him going where the prospect package made sense, and the one of those two teams was the Padres, and what y'all got back was actually more than I originally thought that you guys were gonna be even capable of getting. I thought
I was scared.
I
I was
thought
scared.
maybe San Diego might play a little hardball with y'all, but they actually AJ said, no, take my wife, like have the house and the dog. Like he gave y'all five, you say four first rounders, and this Wood kid was a second rounder. And as you mentioned, yeah, he's getting Willie McCovey comparisons, like disgusting power. I'm really excited to see what your team could look like, especially in the NL East, where Atlanta is they got just a beast of kids. I mean, 25 and under, they probably have the best 25 and under group in baseball. Now that this Vaughn Grissom kid just came up, and he looks capable of doing, pulling off a 30-30 someday in the same lineup with Ronald Acuna. That's like ridiculous. But I think the only way we really take in what this deal does for the San Diego Padres is when Fernando Tatis comes back. Because right now, they're kind of grinding it out. Of course, they got Josh Bell in the deal also. But that lineup card, when I look at it, is not sexy. It's not special yet. It's not fearsome yet. It's not scare. It don't scare me. Let's say I
Are we
want
talking
to.
about with Tatis or without Tatis?
No,
I think
without
we both
Tatis,
kind of
I'm
just
not
Saxon and I
scared of
kind
that
of both
lineup.
just tilted our head at the same time. We're like, what?
No, no, no.
Wait, so with Tatis in the lineup?
In the lineup, they are frightening. But right now, I'm like a good pitch. As they're learning right now, Tatis is like, oh, opposing pitchers, good luck. It's like you should have probably waited. You should have said that coupled
I
with
don't know,
like
man.
Tatis returning. I'm not scared of the Padres unless Fernando Tatis is healthy and doing Tatis things. Like he is the most electric player in baseball. And as much as I love Soto, he's the straw that stirs that drink. They get him back,
So
then that lineup is like, oh shit. But right now, nah, pitchers are like, I'll walk Soto, I'll deal with Machado, and the rest of those guys that are hitting like their OPSs are like under 400, 500. I'm exaggerating, but Cronenworth is not having the year that I thought he would have after the 2 years he put together before then. They're relying on Jurickson Profar for production. Will Myers fell off a cliff. Like, you know what I mean? You can pitch around that lineup. When they get Tatis back, that's when I'm gonna be like, oh shit. Now you could now they layer a little better, but we gotta wait and see. But for as far as both teams, I think it's a win-win. I said it when it happened. I was like, no, both clubs are gonna benefit. Now the Padres are gonna benefit sooner, but the Nats, they if everything works out with those names you mentioned, and I like more than half of those names you mentioned, and a couple of them a lot more than others. Yeah, the NL East is going to be a little bit of a beast in the next 2-3 years, man. It's going to be a beast again. I mean, save for the Marlins because I don't know what they're doing. they, no one knows what they're doing. All right, I'll pass it to either
Wolf.
Chris or Wolf. Yeah, man.
Yeah, so I think it was a smart trade for the Nationals. I mean, let's just say this, even just looking at other teams at the trade deadline, there was that like kind of aura going around with Juan Soto and the Nationals that he was done with the team and they were done with him. Whether or not that All-Star break rumor was true or they didn't fly him out, whatever. I mean, at the end of the day, that didn't really matter. But it was time for him to leave, clearly. It's almost like when Contreras with the Cubs, he's hugging Ian Happ in the dugout and they didn't trade him. That's a little bit awkward, like going forward.
Oh my God, that's wild. Yeah.
So at least like these rumors, whether they're true or not, like it's good. Like he's gone. But at the same time, with the Nationals' perspective, you didn't keep Scherzer, you didn't keep obviously Soto, you didn't keep Rendon, Trey, Harper. So clearly they're not going to keep these guys. Whether or not they gave him the offer, once again, same thing with the other thing we talked about. It's all rumors. But at the end of the day, they got back something. And if you waited longer, the haul is going to be less. Plus, there's also a couple other things they did that even out. They at first were trying to get rid of Corbin's contract. They didn't do that. But at the same time, let's actually think of one thing. They could have took on Hosmer's contract. So Hosmer actually accepting that no trade clause kind of wasn't a
Wow.
bad
Yeah.
thing for them. Because then they would have took on that 39 million for Hosmer, which let's be honest, they weren't going to need Hosmer over the next 3 years. Veteran presence. I mean, no, you're paying like 13 mil for a guy you don't need. So,
We
well,
overrate
they
that sometimes. Veteran presence. It's
yeah,
like
it's exactly. So, and they have Voit there, so if that helps out with that cause, but at the same time, they didn't get rid of Corbin's contract, but they were already paying it, so it's just a wash. But they did trade Soto. Now, on the flip side, the Padres didn't necessarily, in my mind, actually need to make that move. It was a great move to make. Someone was going to make it. But with Tatis and Machado and all that, look at actually Soto in that lineup. Like, I mean, it's a great lineup, but the team overall just isn't like playing like they should. They still can't beat the Dodgers. They actually haven't clicked since Soto's been there. Their starting pitching is good, but compared to like the Braves or the Mets or Houston, dare I even say the Yankees, even trading Montgomery, like they actually like Darvish is good, Musgrove is good, Snell's been pretty trash this year. Clevenger's been nothing to brag about. Like Mania actually hasn't been anything to brag about either. He's almost has like a 4 ERA. So with the Nationals, or excuse me, with the Padres, like they also brought in Hader, who actually hasn't done that well either. It's just for some reason
I
they're
was
not
gonna actually
clicking.
mention.
So it's like bringing Soto in and Hadering, like clearly they're trying, but there's just so many other holes that it's like I'll say this: if Hader, I mean you could say Hader, but let's just take Soto. If Soto went to like Houston or the Dodgers, dare I even say the Yankees or Mets, you could almost guarantee they are going to the World Series. With him
We didn't
going
need
to
another corner
Padres,
outfielder, but yeah.
but it's like I'm saying they're that close, or at least well, I'm gonna say the Yankees because they only have really Houston in their way, so it's kind of like Add that, and you're only going against Houston to get to the World
Got you.
Series. Mets have a little bit
Hmm.
more competition: Cardinals, Dodgers, Padres. But if you add him to like a team that's right there, they go over the edge. The Padres
Oh yeah.
aren't even there. They're almost, what is it? They are, Jesus, they are 16 games out of first place. I mean, they aren't even
Yeah.
close to first place. It's not like a
Oh
team
yeah.
that's like right there, wild card, third place, wild card. Let's get us in. Like, you're talking about, you better click if Soto's coming there, and so far they aren't. So at the end of the day, I'm gonna say the Nationals won that trade each and every day of the week. If they waited, they would have got less. If they waited, it would have been a problem on the team. Padres, did they need him? No. Does he help? Obviously, Soto helps any team, but at the end of the day, let's just see what happens. So,
I think he absolutely helps, but
oh,
the
absolutely.
lineup is so thin, man. It's top heavy. We're
Yep.
talking about the when I if we're gonna
T
picture
Yankees.
if picture the Padres like a woman, and I don't want to offend our female listeners, but we're talking about some giant titties, no ass. Like it's crazy top heavy. Like soon as you get past the five
Whoa.
hole, soon as you get past the five hole, it's weak. It's weak. It's weak. Look, women like women
I,
too. Let's stop.
I,
I
They
mean,
go
they
ahead, go
looking
ahead,
at they
Chris.
looking at what I'm looking at too, man. Come
I'm
on,
gonna
man.
say I'm gonna say I'm gonna disagree with the 6 through 9 here real quick because I think Saxon and I were talking about this last week. You have Cronenworth in the sixth, right? You have in the seventh Grissom. Right now you have Kim who's hitting 250 in the eight, and then in the nine, who was the ninth hitter?
Probably Profar if he's
Prof,
not hitting first.
Profar
They
was hitting
they got
first, but
profile leading
they
off.
had all right. So Profar's first,
Drury,
Drury was sixth. So you have Drury, you have
Oh, I like
Cronenworth.
him. I forgot about
So
that deal.
and he's been hitting home runs. Like I disagree. I think their lineup is very good. I think the Padres also said like this we're gonna make a push for it, and this is the push that we're making. Like where we have Manny Machado, we have Tatis. Here's our quote. Saw Soto hit his first home run as a Padre a few nights ago, and it was electric. He did his shot. He brought the shuffle back, the shuffle that we saw against Verlander in the World Series, right? So we saw that. I don't know if he grabbed his nuts or anything, but we saw it. We saw the shuffle, and then he hit a
We're
home run.
loosening up on the
So
pod now. Let's go.
I think so I mean I also think the Nationals win the deal too. So I think both sides win, to be honest with you, because let's look at it this way. You just saw the Braves a few weeks ago sign Austin Riley to 10 years, 212 million. You offered Soto 10 years,
Bargain.
414 million. So like I think as they go to sell the franchise, I think you see the new owners are like, okay, we got all these prospects. We can maybe get an Austin Riley type deal with one of them, and they can keep somebody long term. What I'll also say is I saw, um, you know, the Nationals, when you walk into the Nationals, I don't know
Nationals
the
Park.
the name. Is it the PNC? What is the Nationals?
Nationals
Nationals
Park.
Park. So when you walk into Nationals Park, you see Swarzer holding up the. And one more thing is you have guys like Grissom, who last year he hit 250.
Cronenworth.
He's only hitting 200 right now. So he, with all
Barely.
those guys coming back, the president, maybe he gets a
It's
big
just their
lift. And
pitching.
like we said,
Their pitching.
it's only all
Ah.
it's we're 10 days into August, 11 days into August. Like we all know that when September comes, whoever's the hottest is going to make the run.
A lot because if their nine hitter is going to be Grisham, let's not forget that what made Trent Grisham so popular and so over with the media and why they call him a good baseball player is because he gets on base. So if that's your nine hitter and then Profar gets on base or whether he does or not, and then Soto does his job, and then it's gonna be pitchers are gonna be frightened in a playoff atmosphere with all that stress and all everything that comes with it. Padres are going to break some hearts.
They
Oh
just
yeah.
need time. I feel like
They
they
are a
really just need
scary
time.
wild
Like
card team.
and you have, we've talked about before, is you have Blake Snell, he's gonna be that guy, like he's gonna be your Nathan Eovaldi who just comes out and gives you a game six with 3 innings and a game seven with 3 innings to win it.
Of course, a Red Sox
So
comparison. You son of a bitch. It gotta be a Red Sox. It gotta be
I
a
mean,
Sox. It
who
gotta
did the
be a
Nats?
Sox.
Who was that
The
guy
fuck?
for?
What
Who was
we
that guy
doing
for
here?
the Royals? Who
Why
was that
not
guy for the
Madison
Royals?
Bumgarner? Why
Who
is it
was
gotta
who was the
suck?
guy? Who
Yeah,
was that
Mad
guy
Bum.
for the Nats? Who was the guy for the Nats when?
Patrick Corbin.
Patrick Corbin.
There's always that guy. There's
That's what I'm
always that
saying. The
guy.
Nationals are
And and
crazy.
and look at it now. Look at it to both those guys, right? The next 2 years after that, they had Evaldi as their ace. Their quote, well, because Sale was down, but their ace, right? And look at Corbin this year. He came in as what? He was your ace, right?
Yep. Yep.
Well, Spaz wasn't gonna be ready. You know, they
I
were
don't think
almost
we.
in
I
the
don't
same
think we had
situation a
him.
little bit. Ace by default. Yeah.
Ace by
And
default.
it sucks because Patrick Corbin, he's like he has the repertoire to fuck the league, and he
He
just
Yeah.
doesn't.
Yeah.
he's
I love his
he's like
stuff.
he's like um he's like Robbie Ray. He's high potential when he's got a good lineup behind him.
And
He
Yes.
that's what's so
I like
sad
that
being an
one better.
Nationals fan because it's like Patrick Corbin, we got one really good year out of that contract, but it was a World Series winning year. And then we got Strasburg, who literally went from World Series MVP, oh my God, Strasburg's finally living up to the name, to 8 games in 3 years.
I mean, look
Oh,
at
eight.
look
It's
at
been
look at
eight and
Look
three.
at Chris Sale. Chris Sale with the
Oh my
bicycle
god.
accident last week and his big ass contract. They look, dude. I hate to say it, but the Red Sox and the Nationals are going down the same path, man. Like look at the Red Sox now. They have Chris Sale. They have their Strasburg with Chris Sale when his injuries, and just trading away good players like Mookie Betts. So it's
Only
sad.
difference is
Oh,
they got two big contract pitchers in their rotation that they don't know what the hell's going on. Because with Spaz
so
and Core, it's like, oh my god.
here's what I'll do. Before we go to break, I'm gonna put a gun to everyone's head, not literally, obviously. But who would you guys believe in more in the playoffs, the Blue Jays or the Mariners? And I'll let Ricky. I'll let you go first on this.
Okay, okay.
It got to be a quick answer. Quickly tell us why, and then we're gonna get to Wolfie
All right, nice. Right now, or
right
we
now.
gonna go to break? Um, oh, that's easy. I have faith in the Blue Jays. No offense to the Mariners, it's just the Blue Jays been there before. I still am. I mean, all year I've been waiting on my man Bo Bichette to wake the fuck up. Like he needs to start. If he don't have coffee in his diet, he needs to implement it. That kid needs to wake up. Like he's too talented. Vlad Jr. is already getting it going. Gurriel, I think, is hitting over 300. Teoscar is starting to come around a little bit. Of course, the Merrifield, move. I don't know what's happening with the vaccination thing. Maybe y'all can let me know. But yeah, I have more faith in the Blue Jays because they were already there last year. They made these additions, and I think at some point we're gonna start to see them look like the team that they were last year.
Wolf.
I'm actually gonna go to the opposite side. I'm gonna go to the Mariners, and the reason is because I think the Blue Jays have tasted it before, but they're not as eager to get there. I mean, they've been good this season.
You asked them,
Yeah.
you asked them.
Hey, Vladdy, you hear me? Oh. But anyway, it's just like they have Gosman. I mean, Ryu's hurt this year. Manoa's good. Barrios. The thing is, Kikuchi. The problem is that they just like. I don't think they wanted as much as the Mariners. The Mariners went out, got Luis Castillo. They got Ty France. J-Rod's going off. It's just like they have so many good players that seem to really want it. And not only that, their franchise seems to want it to where I actually am going to go with the M's. I really think the M's just want it more than the Blue Jays. It's not that I think the M's are that much better. It's just I think they want it more.
I think they're
Chris?
a year away, but
I mean, ultimately, I think both teams make the playoffs because there's 3 wild card spots now. But I think
But who do you believe in more?
Who do I
Yeah.
believe in? I would say I have to go with the Mariners because you look at the divisions. Like, yeah, you have the Astros in the Mariners division, but in the against the Blue Jays, you have the Rays who are still in contention. You have the Yankees who are not performing right now, but they've been very consistent up until now. And then you have, well, the Red Sox are out of contention, but you also have the Orioles, who they're a half game back. So I would say the Mariners, they got Castillo. They have Robbie Ray, who we just talked about. They have Gilbert, who some nights he's going to give you 4 Ks and 5 hits and or get blown up, but some nights he's going to give you 7 Ks, 7 innings, 1 hit. I think they have a deeper bullpen. I think that the Blue Jays, they've Barrios has been just not what they expected. I think they made a lot
That's
of
my
bad
guy too.
choices.
I don't know what's happening.
Yo,
He was the man.
same.
He was the man. Like it's really sad to see. I think, they added Merrifield, but he's Vladdy hasn't been
He's like,
performing to
no
what he did
pokey,
last year.
no pokey.
He went from MVP to, is he even right now a top 100 hitter? I mean, let's not disrespect that
Not
much,
even.
but
Not even. So my
what about
Merrifield?
you, Saxby?
I wanted to lean towards the Blue Jays, and the reason why is because they have guys like Vladdy and Springer and Matt Chapman and Teoscar.
Chapman's
But
picked it up.
then
And
I
Alejandro
think
Kirk.
more. I sit here and think about the Blue Jays
Wonderful
and I
name.
look at their lineup, and they're suffering from Yankees disease.
You'd have to.
From AL.
And wait,
AL
and now he's
East.
putting now the pause.
Yankees disease.
From a perspective to
This is not
where
your '90s Yankees.
Do
This
you hear
is
that,
not
Blue
your
Jays up
'90s
there?
Yankees.
Do you hear this?
This is my last
the
pod,
Blue,
y'all.
the Blue
My one
Jays.
and, my one
Now
and
hear
only
me out.
pod.
Hear me out. Hear me out. Before you guys say this is a bad take, what have the Yankees suffered from since 2009? Really, since they last won?
I could tell you myself.
It's that they're a bunch of big ass righties. That's what the Blue Jays are right now. They're just a bunch of
All right.
big ass righties, and they're pitching, as you guys said. It's like during the regular season, yeah, I would love Gosman, Manoah, Barrios, Kikuchi, but in a playoff situation, Barrios can't keep his shit together. Gosman can't keep his shit
Keep his shit
together.
together in the regular season.
Like Kikuchi, I don't believe in. Manoah, he's young. Their best reliever is Jordan Romano. Their second best reliever is Anthony Bass. And then I look at the Mariners, and you have to I think they're second behind the Yankees in walk-off wins this year, and they have that clutch about them. And mind you, they've done all this without Haniger, without Kyle Lewis, Julio
yeah.
Rodriguez.
Kyle
is hurt,
Lewis,
and they're
I
still
like
winning.
that.
Haniger was one of their best players.
Haniger was a monster last year.
And again, they
39
just
homers.
Yep.
yeah, and they got Luis Castillo now, who's gonna go and make guys' lives easier. Like maybe Marco Gonzalez is not gonna have to carry so much pressure on him to have such a good start. Guys like Flexen, that's gonna make his job easier. But then let's talk about Robbie Ray, like you guys alluded to. Robbie Ray is sitting there with the whole fucking rotation on his back, and he's not doing good because he's Robbie Ray. I mean, you know what I mean? But in a more comfortable rotation, I think he was in last year in Toronto, in a more comfortable rotation, maybe he performs better. But regardless, if a gun to my head, I think I take the Mariners too.
I do trust the Mariners' pen a little more than the Blue Jays. Now that you mention that too, Eric Swanson has been disgusting
Swanson
this year.
and
He's been
what's his name?
filthy this
Their
year.
closer, Seawald.
Yeah, Paul from
From the Mets.
you did not look too happy saying his name. How did he end up there? Y'all traded him for what again?
He might have. Maybe he was in the Diaz deal. That's the only thing I could think of that we would have.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Well,
You
at
know
this
who
point,
must have
was
been
in the
him.
Diaz
Never-
deal?
never mind.
Chris Flexen was also in that.
Great
deal.
move.
So
I'll take it though.
He was a
dude,
Met.
They
Oh.
both were terrible with us, so we had to get rid of them. So
I mean, look, Edwin Diaz is
good for
looking
both
like
of them.
looking like.
while we
he's
go to
having-
break,
One
While
last
we
thing,
go to break,
one last thing I
let's.
want to
Oh,
say.
go.
To your point about Gosman. Gosman and that whole Giants team last year overperformed. Like you look at them this year, and they're just not the same team they were last year. So Gosman, he had a good offense behind him last year. He would go 7 innings, 6 innings. He would give you, give up some hits, give you give up 3 runs, 2 runs, but it was okay because he had an overperforming team behind him last year. He got the big deal. He's complacent with being
And
mediocre
I
now.
always trust pitchers with a power splitter, though. I think at some point Kevin Gausman is going to get it together. I don't know about
What
the rest of
I
these
mean,
guys, though.
I think that at some point he's gonna get it together. Already happened last year because he was horrible with Baltimore.
Yeah.
I'm just
Oh,
saying.
yeah, yeah.
I'm just saying.
Nah. I was arguing with an Oriole fan. He was like, "Yo, he's gonna come down to earth," and I didn't believe him, but he knew something I didn't.
But all right. On that note, we're gonna go to break. And just like that, we're back. We're gonna give you guys a couple of cool things that we've come up with here to end the show. Not saying we're ending it in like 10 seconds or anything, but so we're gonna play a game of real or fake, and this is going to be the playoff edition. And again, I'm gonna give 8 teams. Has to be quick answers. Just do you believe in them or do you not believe in them, and why, or why not? All right. So I'm gonna start with the Orioles, and I'll give my take. Fake. Now, the reason why I say fake is because I just don't think they're ready yet. I think they are gonna tail down here towards the end of the year because they're gonna be playing the AL East, and the AL East, they're all gonna be in the playoffs, and I think in a race like that, I just don't think the Orioles are gonna have enough to keep up with the big dogs, and there's a lot of big dogs in the AL that they're gonna have to keep up with. Ricky.
Um, Orioles fake, and I don't think it's a bad thing. I think they I don't even call it overachieved. I think they found something. They have possibly the best pitching arm in the minors right now in that Rodriguez kid. They have a lot to look forward to next year, where they may even dare I say swap with maybe the Rays and the Blue Jays as far as the hierarchy. Of course, I always got to worry about Boston doing their thing. I'm not just burying y'all, but as of right now, I think fake respectfully. I'll say it that way.
I'll hop in here.
Wolf?
You know what? I was gonna say fake, but I just took a quick look up and behind me in the standings. I'm gonna say real. And you know why I'm gonna say real? Right now, they are tied with Tampa Bay for third place in the division. If they were
What
in
does
the
that
AL,
mean?
if they were in the AL Central, they would be a game out of first place
If
with
ifs and buts
trading
was
players.
candy and nuts,
If they didn't trade players, if they actually added on, they are a good team. So it's not that they're fake out of the playoffs. They're in the playoffs. If they added more, could they win the whole thing? No. But to act like they couldn't beat the Twins or the Rays or even Seattle, I mean, they might not sweep them, they might not win the series, but they'll contend. So you know what? I'm going to say they're actually a real they're a, they're a team. They
say
might
it.
not win the whole
No,
thing,
say
but
it.
they're going to get
Say it.
in.
Say contender. You didn't want to. You stop.
They're a contender to beat half of the teams
Stand on
going
it.
into the playoffs.
Stand on it.
They could easily beat every team in the AL Central.
Yes.
They could be in first place in the AL Central. I'll say that.
I
Clearly
agree
they
with
are.
you.
Dude, they're 6 games above 500. The only team that would be better than them in the AL Central is one game at 59 wins with the Guardians. They'd be technically with losses a half game. So you know what? Stats don't lie. They're what they are. I'm gonna say real.
Interesting.
Chris.
Yeah, Chris.
I'm gonna say the real, man. I'm gonna say the real because they also have. they have prospects they can bring up. Like I understand that they gave away a lot of players, but they have prospects to maybe make this push. If you look at the last 10, I want to say they have a better record than the White Sox. I think the White Sox are 5-5 in the last 10. I think the Twins are the Twins and the White Sox are right behind the Orioles right now, right? So you have those three teams. I think the Orioles have enough to just keep doing what they've been doing all year, and that's been overperforming and kind of just being a dark horse. I'm not saying that they beat anybody in the playoffs. I think again, with three wild card spots, you have a better chance, and you know they are pound for pound, as the Wolfie said, a better team than the White Sox, who've been underperform all year. With besides Dylan Cease.
My most disappointing team in the whole league is them.
I knew I'd
I
get you,
got the
Chris.
Orioles playing spoiler. I think the Orioles play spoiler
We'll
at
get
the end
there.
of the year. I don't have them making the playoffs, but I have them making other teams unable to make the playoffs.
Yeah, but if that comes with the Orioles winning games, then they're gonna make the playoffs.
Pause.
That's who's fun.
And then we have the Guardians. So real or fake? I'm just gonna go fake. It's the Guardians. That's really all I have to say about that. I mean, I think they can, like Ricky alluded to for the Orioles. I think they can play spoiler because at the end of the day, they have a lot of pure hitters. Like
Oh,
when you
yeah.
look at
J-Ram,
uh,
Jimenez.
everybody.
Yeah, really
Everybody. When
everybody.
you look at those hitters, and you look at Owen Miller, and you look at Stephen Kwan, and you look at
Love him.
Jimenez, and you look at I mean they have a lot of good hitters, but that's
Rosario.
Shane Bieber can't carry everything. So
I like Aaron
fake.
Savard. He's solid.
He has like a 6-something ERA.
They have a really good pen. The Guardians have an excellent bullpen, by the way, but it's not enough. They're
Karen check.
crazy young. They're incredibly young. I don't even think they have one 30-year-old on that team. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. They might have one or two. They might have turned 30 this year. Like, crazy young team. Yeah, I'd say they're fake for the same reason with the Orioles. It's like I'm basically just switching the names here. And I think the Orioles actually have more to make a push than the Guardians, even though that's crazy considering that J-Ram is an MVP candidate. But I just don't think they have. I don't. You know what? Talent-wise, you could argue they have more at the major league level, but there's something missing. And the Orioles, like I said, they're running on like propane right now. They're just. I mean, they're not on fire, but as far as their dugout and they have a lot of that je ne sais quoi, as they say. You can't even say it. It's like it's an intangible thing. Like they're gonna continue to make games tough for teams, but I don't see the Guardians doing much. I call fake.
Wolfie
I'm
propane.
gonna say the same thing as you guys. Actually, I'm gonna go with fake on this one. And surprisingly, you'd be thinking I went with Orioles real. I'm gonna go with this real. I just didn't have faith with them in the beginning. The Orioles actually surprised me on how good they played. The Indians, it's just more of that. I don't believe in their division. I think it's more.
It's the Guardians.
It's more. The Guardians. Excuse me. Yes, the Guardians. It's more that their division's bad because I look at it like Orioles have to play Blue Jays, Yankees, Toronto to actually get where they are. Cleveland actually has to play Detroit, White Sox, Royals, even Twins are falling off. So overall, yeah, they have J-Ram. Their starters are doing whatever. Couple good bats, but overall, I'm going to say fake. And plus, they didn't do anything trade deadline wise to either improve or weaken their team. So I'm just going to say fake.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna say real because of the reasons you just said, Wolfie. They're playing against the Twins. They're playing. I mean, the Twins. Yeah, they have Buxton, but they are they even above 500 right now? They're
Buxton's
playing with
a bit overrated, by the way, but
But
I'll leave that for another day.
I'm I'm saying real because of the division, because they're in the same division as Detroit. They're in the same division as the White Sox, the Twins, right? So
Royals.
they have an easier way to make it, the easier chance to win the division and get into the playoffs. I also think it's not only on Shane Bieber anymore. I don't know if did everybody miss the McKenzie game a few nights ago? He just threw
Oh,
a 1-0 victory against the Astros, 8 innings, 8 strikeouts, 2 hits. Like, if he comes alive and he gives you a solid performance, you have Savell, you have Karen check in the bullpen, you have Clace to clean up, you have Clace as your closer. Like, they're a sneaky team. They're a sneaky team in weak division. I think they're real. I think they're the realest out of those teams in that division.
Good
That's
point. Good
fair.
point.
that's very
All
fair.
right, so the San Francisco Giants, I'm gonna say fake, and that's just because it just is what it is. I mean, last year I think it was a situation where this version of the Giants, they got everything out of that last year. I think the last year of their window was last year, and they're probably going to rebuild in the off season. Or if they don't, they'll just do what the Giants normally do and retool and get right back on the road with it. But I think as for this year, I think now the meltdowns are coming in the bullpen and with their manager. I think the writing's on the wall. I don't see the Giants doing much.
Oh, they fake as hell. I'm adding as hell. They're fake as hell. They caught lightning in a big ass bottle, pirate ship bottle, uh, last year. I don't even know how they did that. Their fan base is just ridiculous. Like they had astronomical expectations, and you can't expect that to happen twice in back to back years. No way. I learned my lesson on that. They still, as again, don't have the hitting. And now they're on and off getting the pitching. That I'm not too excited about their prospect in the minors. I do like the Joey Bart kid, but they don't have enough. And in that division, that beast of a division, they're going to be a little bit of a welcome mat for the rest of the year.
I I don't think they're that beast of a division anymore. But that we'll have that talk.
No, I
Let's bring
mean
that
as
back.
long
Let's
as
bring
they're
that
ran
back.
by
Let's
those
talk
two.
about the division and the chop up at the end. Talk about the division.
Yeah, but
Yo,
I'm just gonna tack on same thing, fake. To be honest, not only were they fake last year, I think they've been fake over the last 12 years. They've gotten lucky, like every time. Like
Yeah.
other than a couple good pitching performances and some lucky ass bullpen like maneuvers, like everybody that like Longoria's never proven. Cueto's not even on the team anymore. All the pitching they had last year, Guzman isn't there anymore. Like they've been so lucky. Like Wilmer Flores is still there, like a damn near starting player. Brandon Belt,
Yeah.
like Crawford's almost 50. Like no, like that team is so like lucky. Like honestly, like they're honestly, I have more faith that like Miami could get to the playoffs than the Giants.
Me too.
So
Starting next year, starting next season.
Dude, I say it started in 2019. All right, Chris.
Yeah.
All right, Chris, what are you thinking?
I'm gonna say fake as well. I'm gonna say they're not your 2021 Giants, just like all of you guys
It's an
said.
agreement.
The 2021 Giants all overperformed. I think that you look at some of the things that you question is you saw Jock Peterson's name in the trade deadline didn't go anywhere. They get rid of Ruff. It's kind of like they don't know what they're doing. I'm not saying they don't know what they're doing, but
They should have
like
dealt
look,
Rondon.
that's what I was gonna say as well. They're talking about re-signing him, re-signing Jock Peterson. It's kind of they're old.
They're not coming
They just don't. I feel like their best player right now is Estrada, and that's your best player. Like that's kind of sad.
That guy's made me a lot of money this year.
Yeah,
kinda
but
sad.
that's not promising.
All right, so the White Sox. Now, I'm saying fake. It's just 'cause the chemistry ain't there. It's just not there for them. They all hate the guy they're playing.
Fire Tony.
Yep.
Fire
I
La
honestly
Russa.
like with all the things that have went down with the White Sox in the past couple years. When you consider Tim Anderson bat flipping. And Eloy, Robert, and Moncada, like everyone's very expressive on the White Sox.
Abreu.
And then you just throw in Tony La Russa, who has a very old school way of thinking.
I
And
never
I
liked
don't
it.
know why they expected it to work, but my take on this, and Wolfie, this might get Wolfie to say I'm the bad take guy of the day, but the White Sox remind me of the Mets and how disappointing they are. It's like they get their one run every once in a while, and I just made the list.
Jesus, I got a full page
they
from you
make
already.
their
Jesus.
the White Sox, they make their good run every once in a while, but other
Bro,
than that, they always
which
are big
Giolitos
on
are
the
fifth?
advertisements. Were very frustrating to watch. Like, I want to see Tim Anderson hoist up a World Series trophy. I would love that.
Bro,
Are we gonna see it? Probably not.
Bro thinks
No,
Tim
I
Anderson's
guarantee
gonna
you
host
won't.
up a World Series trophy. Yeah, the other day he's telling me Jose Reyes is overrated. Like, bro, we have Lindor over here about to hit 120 RBIs, and he's worried about Tim Anderson. Who's
Tim Anderson's a free agent. Tim Anderson's a
Jesus.
free agent this offseason.
Ricky, let us know, real or fake.
Oh,
What, the White Sox? They fake
Yeah.
as hell. I'm adding as hell. Like, I don't know what happened to Eloy Jimenez. Luis Robert, Robert, I don't know why I thought he was French just now.
No, it is. It's
He-
bad.
Robert, excuse me. He's not hitting for much power this year. Like, he's hitting, but I expected a little more of a power surge from him. I'm not getting that. Yasmani Grandal, I knew at some point Father Time was going to catch up to him. I didn't know it was going to be this season. And same with Abreu, same thing. Father Time said, "Nah, that's it. I think it's clipped for them." Johan Moncada, and Chris could probably attest to this. You did a good job getting out of that, because he's fooled me. I thought he was the next, like, I don't want to say Roberto Alomar as far as in the field, but I thought his bat was going to be transcending. It just never panned out. They have holes everywhere. They're a sponge. It's freaking ridiculous. They're like the moon's crater. There's holes fucking everywhere. Tim Anderson is the only thing I get hype about, and he's a free agent this offseason. The White Sox are a mess. Get him the fuck out of here. Dylan Cease, I don't know how he's carrying that team, but he can't do it alone. Yeah, pack him up. Get him out of here. They're fake as fuck.
All right, Wolf, what you think?
Same thing. And it's the same thing almost with San Francisco. I've honestly never been high on the White Sox. It's the same thing with like the Cubs, where it's like, or in Cincinnati that one time where I was saying everybody was so hyped up about Cincinnati that one year where it was like, Bauer and Castillo, and it's the same thing when all their hitters were going with Jimenez and Moncada and Robert. It's like all of a sudden they like were kind of clicking. Everybody's like, oh, look at that nice powerhouse team, but like with the way they're constructed and playing, they don't have that like overpowering anything. Like Ricky said, it's just like a hole everywhere. Like there's just so many pieces. The manager's just clearly not in control and just not
top
what
to
that
bottom.
team needs. So it's just like from pitching to hitting to defense to running to bullpen to manager, way too many holes. And I've honestly think they've had these. I mean, they clearly have had these holes for years. They haven't really changed too much. So overall, they've been fake since day one.
They haven't had a good right fielder in God knows how long. When was the last good White Sox right fielder? Anyway, yo, Chris, take it away.
I'm gonna go with fake. I'm gonna say that it's. I'm gonna have to agree with Zaxby a little bit. Not saying this year's Mets, but I'm gonna say, think about the Mets of 2 years ago.
Get your notepad.
And
Wolf.
think about Dylan. Think about Cease
You and me are just gonna be ripping
as your DeGrom. Think of Cease as your DeGrom. He throws a fucking gem every time, and they just can't get the job done for him. That's what I'm just saying. That's the only comparison I'm gonna say is Dylan Cease is Jacob DeGrom on the Mets a couple years ago, where he would throw a fucking gem and they would not deliver a fucking run for him, and he would catch an L or get a no decision.
I'll say this.
That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying. I mean, and they also. I guess you could also say the Mets have always looked very good on paper, and the White Sox look very good on paper coming into the season.
No,
but very inconsistent.
Whenever has Jacob DeGrom faced the Detroit Tigers the Royals, the Guardians. Like, dude, even
Hey, he faced the Royals and he lost.
dude, even when the Nationals sucked, he still had a team that had Soto. What do the
Damn.
Royals have? Like, dude, like
I'll give you that. I'm just saying.
Braves,
Dylan Cease.
DeGrom has never not had
thing.
Harper in his division. Like, there are
all
so
I'm
many
saying
better
is
players that the Mets have seen. Like, their division.
Had that boy Eric Hosmer.
Let me take it back a little bit. All I'm saying is it's sad to see it's sad to see Cease pitching as well as he's pitching and it going to waste on a losing team. That's all I'm gonna say.
All right, so the Brewers. Damn, this is a good one. Hold on, I gotta see the wild card standings real quick. I think real, just because they're competing with the Phillies, and I don't see the Phillies making it, and the only other person that can make it besides the Phillies right now is the Brewers. So I think it's gonna come down to those two. So I say real, I guess. I don't think they're going to make absolutely any noise in the postseason. They never really do. And they're just not built for success, I think. Like, I don't think they're built to win one game in the playoffs. They could prove me wrong, but I just don't see it from Milwaukee. So I'm gonna say real in regards to will they make the playoffs, but fake overall if we're talking about true contention.
Yeah, it's like real by default. That's where I'm kind of going with this. Like, their division is crazy weak. The St. Louis is running away. They still have that three-headed monster in their rotation. Still have Devin Williams, even though we don't know what he's going to become now that he's a ninth inning guy. A lot of eighth inning guys have collapsed when given that responsibility to go from setup guy to, the head honcho in the ninth. But their lineup, man, you look at the names and it's like, yo, why are these guys not hitting? Like, I like how do you pronounce Keston? I don't know what's I like Urias. Urias. But I really don't know what's up with Yelich. Tyrone Taylor isn't doing. It's like this lineup is almost like NL Central White Sox, like just holes everywhere you look. Dang, that reminded me of the Full House song. Anyway, I'm not gonna start singing. Everywhere you look. Anyway, I'll start it anyway. Same thing. They're real by default because they're gonna limp into the playoffs and get annihilated by the Padres or somebody, whoever they match up with. So Wolf, what you got?
I'm gonna come at you. I'm gonna say they're actually fake, and I'm gonna say this is why they're fake. You got the Padres, the Phillies, and the Braves. They're taking those 3 wild card spots. Cardinals are gonna knock the Brewers out of first place. Mets are taking first place. Dodgers are taking first place. Those are the other 3 teams going in. They got rid of Hader. While I know he was doing bad, Devin Williams can step right in. They have some good pitching, but let's take it Fried, Strider, Nola, Wheeler, clearly the Mets, Dodgers, and Cardinals. I honestly think what you guys actually just admitted, you almost kind of said what my point is, which is their hitting just isn't producing. And it hasn't done it all year. A guy like Yelich is just, he went from an MVP to damn
near
like
a couple years.
So it's like, you know what, I'm going to say this. I think they're fake. They don't have that anything. They're a sponge. They have too many holes. They don't have that top 2. Give me like 2 to 3 bats on their team that are like a Machado, Tatis, and Yelich, and a Soto. You're not gonna find it.
Not a one.
And even if they somehow get hot with those other teams in the way, you know what? I'm saying fake.
They're relying on Willie Adames to carry them,
or Keston Hiura,
crazy.
like you said, or anybody else. I mean. They already got rid of Kane. Renfro, is he still there?
Kane couldn't slug 400. Like, it's ugly. It's ugly. Chris, what you got, man?
I'm gonna go with fake as well. I'm gonna say that they're fake because you look at the Phillies, they're been hot. They're eight, and then you look at not only the Phillies, but you look at the Cardinals. The Cardinals are 8-2 in their last 10. The Dodgers are 10-0 in their last 10 on a win 10. Like you also have the Mets are on 8-2 in their last 10. So you look at they've already lost the division lead. They they're just not there offensively. They're very sluggish. They don't have a great bullpen. They got rid of their closer. Like why you got rid of your closer? It kind of sends mixed signals at the deadline. Like you got rid of your closer. I understand he hasn't been doing as well as he's been in the past, but
That's why
who
I
else
said
do you
they
have now?
losers.
I think
Yeah.
last thing to say about them is that they're just not as good as the other teams. Like I mean, but then again, you look at the Phillies. The Phillies just had Schwarber go down, so you have the Phillies coming against a big series against the
Ooh.
Yankees, and the Yankees are pitching all of their. I want to say
Where
the
is
Yankees are playing
Nick
their 1-2
Castellanos?
breaks. So
Where is
you
Nick
see,
Castellanos?
He's
but
on Philadelphia.
but I
No,
think
Philadelphia.
I think
I'm looking
ultimately
for him. He ain't show up all year.
I think ultimately
Where
like
is he?
they don't edge out the Phillies. They definitely don't edge out the Braves. I think three come out of the
Mm.
East. It's gonna be, the Mets, the Phillies, and the Braves coming out of the East. And I think just the Cardinals just took the lead in the division, so it's kind of like now they're about to put them in the dust.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that about the closer thing. I think whenever a team moves their closer, their star closer, not just any closer, a star closer, you're telling your fan base the games that when we go into the ninth inning are not we're not worth saving because we're not gonna have leads to protect.
He's your highest.
So
That's your
that
highest pressure moment. That's your high. That's the guy that you need to bring in to win you a game. I just
yeah,
don't understand. If you look at all the teams that are great this year, they all have a great closer. So, and I think
absolutely.
you gave it to the. That's why else I think the Padres do get it together. He's got to come around sometime.
I do like Taylor Rogers though, me personally, but he ain't no Josh
All
Hader when
right.
he's on. Yeah.
So we're gonna cap this off with the Twins. Now, I say real. Hear me out. I think the Twins are actually a very underrated, dangerous team. They're not going to be going into the playoffs with all these expectations that they've had in prior years to at least get it done in one division series, at least get by the Yankees at least once. I honestly think if they make it this year, they'll be in a better position to beat the Yankees than they ever have,
They
given
ain't
that they
never
don't
beat
have
us.
the pressure.
Look at their record against us. They ain't never
Absolutely
beat us.
not, man. You. Oh
But
God.
They ain't never
but
beaten us. But
But when I say that, that's not me saying that they're going to beat the Yankees. I just think they have a better chance this year than they've had in past.
okay, we got like a 21 game
So
playoff
The
streak against
Twins, the
them. Like
Mets,
something crazy.
the Mariners winning the. Oh my gosh.
the Mariners winning what?
Deadline, like giving up
The
everybody for a pitcher that isn't
but
gonna get him past the first round. Oh
I
my
will
gosh.
agree. I will
We'll
agree
see.
with
All right, but anyway,
I'm messing.
Twins,
I'm messing.
real. I say they're real because that Tyler Mahle trade was very underrated.
yes.
I think they got Jorge Lopez and Michael Fulmer, two top relievers, in my
All
opinion.
right.
Duran is there. So they have
White Sox.
Sonny
I
Gray,
mean,
Tyler Mahle, Joe Ryan,
Tigers give up.
Dylan Bundy, and Chris Archer. But we don't have to talk too much about those two because the playoffs are 3 or 4. And then you just look at their lineup. Like, yeah, Byron. I can agree that Byron Buxton is
Little
indeed
overrated.
overrated.
Little overrated.
However,
I mean, they are pretty
he's going to
good.
be
I
surrounded with.
completely agree.
They're going to be surrounded with postseason legend Carlos Correa.
I trust Carlos.
They have Luis Reyes,
Yep.
who is hitting everything. They got Jorge Polanco,
Who's
who's
hitting?
really
He's
making.
back. He
I
bounced
don't know.
back.
I've heard more about Polanco this year than I've ever heard about.
He had a
I
big.
always liked him.
Gary Sanchez has been there before. I mean, I know Gary Sanchez is Gary Sanchez, but he's had this postseason.
I have a soft spot for Gary.
before. This is a bunch of guys that have been there before.
You have
in
Reyes
some way,
as well.
shape, or form.
Reyes.
If you have
And it's
Gary
just a
Sanchez on your
good- I
team, you're
look
an
at
instant
it.
fake. Nothing. Nah,
Yo, that's all
keep
three of
it.
y'all now. That's all three of y'all. I gotta do a whole drive by. I was only coming to shoot up one house. Now I gotta air the whole block out. I gotta spin the block, and all three of y'all
So
now. Like, I can't believe it.
overall, I don't know. I say real's
No,
pretty
you're
good.
Disgusting.
real. You're real.
It's a really good group of guys. It's a good group of guys.
Rookie.
Oh, listen. Fake. But I mean, oh, not fake. Excuse me. Real
Yeah,
by
you know.
real by default.
How is it real by default?
Because look
They're
at their
not even
division.
number one in their division.
Wait, they're
Dude, as
not
a
number one
Yankee
in the.
fan, how can you say real? Oh,
They lost it
Wait, I'm
last
talking
night
about.
to the Angels.
So the Guardians are right now the AL Central leaders right now. That's what
Yes.
y'all telling me.
Yes.
Holy cow! I still believe in them. I'm still.
By
I think that's
by
temporary.
by 2 games. They're starting to separate the
I
gap.
see when I look at their lineup, I see nothing but experienced bats, guys that even if they don't have a World Series or never been to the big stage, like the grandest of stages, they have a ton of well, they have Carlos Correa, yeah. Through and all, I just trust their lineup. They just, usually ignorance is bliss, and what does it matter? But even in the pen, and Thomas mentioned the arms that they acquired around the deadline. I just like the cohesiveness of that team a little more than what the Guardians got going on right now. And again, as we mentioned prior when we were talking about the White Sox, they have just a smorgasbord of teams to beat up for the last 2 months to stack wins and do their thing. And they can low key be a lot more like even if the Guardians, let's say the Guardians make the playoffs, they don't really have the fangs to scare anybody. Minnesota, low key, if I see, now I was talking about our winning streak against them, but in a way, I really don't want to see them because I know that's in the back of their head, and all those professional hitters and Carlos Correa, of course, he ain't really crazy about us. I could see them causing problems for somebody. So I'm gonna say they're real by default because their division is, poo poo water. But yeah, Wolfie.
so you know what? I'm gonna actually, as all that smack I talked, I'm gonna say exactly what you said. I don't like to use that term, but with the Brewers, a little different with me. I think the Cardinals are better, but with the Twins, default. I don't think the Guardians are good. The White Sox are a fluke. Detroit and Kansas City. So with that being said, I think the Twins are the best to win that division by default. They have good guys. They've been in the lead for most of the year. The Guardians might win some here and there, but I don't think they have enough to sustain it. Polanco's great. Buxton, good. I do think overrated as well. I'll say that too. Plus, they also actually made some moves. They actually made it seem like they're trying to win. Gary Sanchez and Gio in the offseason wasn't terrible. They did get rid of the Donaldson deal. Like you guys said, Fulmer, Bundy, I don't I think he was one of those like kind of Giants pitchers back in the day, thing where it was like, Gosman and all that weren't that great. I think it was the same thing with Bundy when he was with the Angels. But overall, I do think the Twins are the best to win that division. So I'm gonna say real by default, Chris.
I'm gonna have to say fake. I think they're fake because they don't. Who is their ace? Like, is none of their guys
Sonny Gray.
are Sonny Gray. Sonny Gray. Sonny Gray is above 3 ERA. Like I mean, they have they do have. I will say they do have a very good offense, but when you they have I want to say they have a tougher schedule coming down the line right here. They just lost the lead. I just think the Guardians are a better team. I don't know. Maybe I'm sold. I just like the 1-2 combo of Karinchak and Clace. I really like that combo. I think Tristan McKenzie gets it together here and kind of and I think
Yeah,
they just
McKenzie, yeah.
lost. They just lost the division, and they're talking about one game at a time mindset. Their head coach is talking about one game at a time mindset, and we're in the middle of August. Like I don't like that. I think they're fake. They're real fake. Like I don't
All right.
they don't have a they don't they don't have a ace, man. I just don't like it. I no I don't know. I don't know, man. You got Bieber. Who? Okay, so who would you rather have? Who would you rather have as your 1-2? Bieber and McKenzie, or
Dylan
Gray
Bundy and
and Joe
Sonny Gray.
Ryan? Oh, I thought you just said Joe
I
Ryan. But okay, you said Bundy and Gray, but
No,
you just
I'm
said Joe
joking,
Ryan.
but I'm saying like
Like, who's
they've
their
clearly
fucking
done it all
ace?
year.
They
So
don't have
like,
one.
I'm taking Tyler Mahle and Joe Ryan
oh,
over
Tyler
over
Mahle,
those
yeah,
two.
that too. I forgot
Ah,
about that trade.
ah.
Now we're gonna get we have live guests here. We got Eric Hosmer, Manny Machado, Luke Voit. Enjoy the show. We'll be right back.
Can you scrub harder between my toes? Like, what am I paying you for this pedicure? You know whose feet this is? This is Manny fucking Machado. Wait, hold on. Yeah, hello? Trade? Involving who? Not me. I'm not going no fucking where. Mm-hmm. Oh, Juan Soto. Oh, that's my boy. Yeah. Yeah, you know, he ain't as great as me, but mm-hmm. For Gore, bye. Okay. Barely knew thee. Abrams? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And Hosmer? Do that shit. What are you even calling me for? Uh-huh. All right, well, get back to me when you complete it. I'm in the middle of a pedicure. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, you're still doing it wrong. You're still doing it wrong. I mean, I've been here for an hour, and I'm getting no satisfaction out of it. And you know you have to do my nails next.
Hey, Eric Hosmer here. Sorry, just wanted to record myself looking sharp. Yeah, you know, enjoying this weather out in San Diego. About to go take batting practice. It's lovely here. We're gonna get another ring. You know, Hosmer Nation, stand up. And I know a lot of you guys out there want to see me winning again. Sorry. Oh yeah, I know you guys noticed the ring. It never leaves the finger. I did everything for KC. I'm gonna bring a ring to San Diego too, don't you? Wait, hold on, I'm getting a call. Oh, could this be? Let me just make sure. Okay. Yeah, what's up, man? Trade? Oh, okay. What? Washington? Yeah, I'll let you know how I feel about it. I gotta think real hard about that. Yeah, Washington. Yeah, I mean, that, let Eric Hosmer handle it. Just give me a second. Wow, let's trade it to Washington. Oh, well, good thing I have a hat ready. Let's try this bad boy on. Let's see here. I got this hat because thought I was gonna get traded there from Kansas City back in the day, you know. So good thing I still okay. Yeah, all right. Yeah, no.
Wait, hold on. They calling me back. Yeah, hello? Who gave him a no trade clause? Y'all? I mean, I understand you giving me one, but the fuck was y'all thinking? Okay. Lou? Just get the shit done, all right? I got better things to do. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. No. No. No, I don't think Tatis cares. I promise you he don't care. Okay. Well, I got a coconut mask I'm about to throw in my face, so if you may, we could speak about this when I get to the ballpark. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you know who the fuck I am. Please don't call with bullshit no more. Josh Bell also, whatever, get it done.
Oh, this is just fucking great. So not only am I going to Washington, he's not even part of the fucking deal, and now he's hightailing it out of fucking San Diego to Boston? Are you kidding me? I'm gonna get the motherfucker on the phone right now. Hey, yo, H-Man. Yeah, you know already who this is. What the fuck is going on? No, bro. You didn't even... I should have stayed on the fucking Yankees.
Whew. Thank you, Manny Machado, for the wise words. All right, so we're gonna wrap this up with a segment we like to call Chop It Up. So we're just gonna chop it up on some final takes. I'm gonna start this off by saying, listen, guys, I know I said what I said about the steroids, but Adderall is nuts. Adderall is one hell of a drug. Adderall. I feel like if steroids came back, you'd have to ban Adderall because that is a different level of focus that not a lot of humans are ever going to feel. Anyway, and my second opinion on the steroids thing was that Ryan Braun is one of the biggest clowns to walk this earth. But I just want to talk about that story real fast on how he literally got a whole FedEx worker fired and almost sued FedEx for messing up his drug sample just to admit that he did it like a couple months later.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I mean, grade A-hole move, like all-timer.
He was becoming my favorite player in the league. Him and Matt Kemp, they were like really, really good. I loved watching them.
Yeah, I loved them.
And it just did so badly.
Yeah, I loved him. Ryan Braun was my guy. Him and Prince, that was a fun little time, man.
Adderall's nuts.
I want to say one last thing about steroids, and then I think we can leave it dead, is you still got to hit the fucking ball, right? So you still got to have the eye contact. You still have to be able to have those quick hands. So that's all I'm going to say about steroids. And
baseball is the hardest sport, in my opinion, just on the fact that you have to hit a 90-mile-per-hour ball in the span of, 2 seconds?
And think about going against like a Yu Darvish slider, right? Like when it's fucking in your left-handed hitter, like stupid.
Yeah,
Stupid.
It's coming in, and then you swing and miss, and it hits your back left ankle. Like what the world? I really feel like a kid as far as this playoff race. Like this is the most exciting playoff race. I mean, in both leagues that I've experienced in quite some time, man. I'm talking, but maybe decades plus. And even as a Yankee fan, a lot of Yankee fans who's probably watching this right now, they're not gonna like this, but I've really Wolf may like to hear this. I was raised by nothing but Mets fans. My great grandfather was a minor league umpire. Not a minor league umpire. He briefly was a Negro League umpire and did a little bit of minor league umpiring. And he was a lifelong Met fan. My great grandmother, God rest her soul, lifelong Met fan. My grandmother, lifelong Met fan. Her boyfriend, lifelong Met fan. My pop, lifelong, I'm nothing but Met fans. I am the only Yankee fan, but I always, I grew up watching Gooden and Strawberry. Yeah.
Strawberry.
I choked on my spit just now. Oh my God.
Pause!
Oh my God, it's my spit.
Pause!
So, I grew up on Gooden and Strawberry, so I always got a soft spot for the Mets, man. So to see them having the year that they're having, it takes me almost back to like when the 9/11 hit, Subway Series, and of course I would love to see that again. But if we don't make it, which I think we're not gonna make it, someone's gonna upset us. I feel like my Yanks are gonna get upset. I'm kind of pulling for the Mets to hold it down for us. I'm not even gonna lie. I already showed you that they're my franchise in MLB. They're just the most fun team.
Listening to Mets and Yankee fans is hilarious. It's a whole lot of I don't think we're gonna make it.
I feel like
Hell yeah, we're gonna beat everybody. It's never anything in between.
as of right now, I'm a Mankey fan.
Right now, it's
Make
if we
you
don't
fan.
win, it's we. If we don't win, I hope you guys win. That's the new Mets Yankees talk.
I'm
right now.
I'm a Yets
No,
fan.
but Chris, keep this in mind. I always said this about your team too. I was like, if we're gonna get eliminated, I say this with any team. If you eliminate me from the playoffs, you have to win it all. Like I always had, I don't care what it is.
Yeah, I'm
Like,
usually on
if
that
you
boat,
eliminate
too.
me, you better go all the way. Because then I could say, oh, we lost to the eventual
Yep.
champions. I could go to sleep at night. So
Yep.
But not if you're the Nationals in like 2017 losing to the Cubs who got swept by the Dodgers literally the series after. But
oh my God, the misery.
that was disgusting.
But yeah, to bounce off of that though, to just continue, I was gonna say the same thing with the Mets. You got to remember, I'm 27 years old, so I've seen only a couple Met runs that have actually been rememberable. But 2015, like that wasn't even like a expected run. We were trying to come back in the season. Most of the season, we were in second place to the Nationals. Actually, go figure, Saxby. But like we weren't like, oh my god, like the Mets are gonna go to the World Series. Like we made that Cespedes move and we were cranking, but like we were still running like Lucas Duda at first base, like Daniel Murphy just happened to step up. Like, dude, I'm pretty sure Eric Campbell was still on the bench. Like we weren't
What
like
year?
Daniel Murphy's a really
what
nice
year
player.
was the infamous Adam Wainwright curveball?
2006.
Again. Oh wow.
So you're
Yeah,
talking
I'm showing my age.
2012, like 2000 for the Yankees, 2006, 7, like
I apologize.
15, 16. But like this is the first year that I'm about to see like the best Met record team ever. Not like we're not talking like they had a 90 win season. They're on pace to win like almost 110 games. This is going to be like one of the best seasons I've ever seen with some of the best stats and players I've ever seen. Jose Reyes, which was literally on the cover of an MLB video game at one point, had 81 RBIs in his best season. Lindor has that, and it's August 11th. Like, are we kidding me? Like, this is a team I've never seen before. So right now, like Ricky said, like I'm a Met fan, so I think I got to see that. If the Yankees do what they do, I'm glad with that too. But I'm just living it up right now because it's some of the best baseball I've ever seen in my life, and I'm just gonna enjoy every second of it.
And the Mets are not going to win in your lifetime.
Watch out this year. Watch this. Steve Cohen's coming for you. We ain't messing around. Max Scherzer's going to win it for us this year, and he's going to go down to the Hall of Fame as a Met.
I'll hate you
Dude,
forever.
watch this. He's gonna win 3 in a row, and he's going to go down in the Hall of Fame as a Met.
Whoa, 3 in a row.
Yep.
Wow.
That would be the only.
Oh, someone's actually. Ricky, what happened?
Oh, my phone was on.
All right,
All right, Chris. What's your final take?
my final take is one, Yankees Mets fans, the same type of people. They say, they're both saying if I don't win, I hope you win, and I think that's just very cute. That's my first take. I think my second thought is I enjoyed the trade deadline. We talked a lot about it today. I really enjoyed the trade deadline this year. I think there was a lot of trades. There was trades that made sense. There was trades of playoff contenders or wannabe contenders, as we talked about today, that made a push to try to make the playoffs. I think it's good for the sport. And the last thing I want to say is I like the All Star game and how there was that Julio Rodriguez show kind of thing in the home run derby. It's kind of showing like the new face of baseball, the game changer. So those that's my last three thoughts that were on my mind tonight.
Yeah, I can't wait to get my Julio Rodriguez jersey. If MLB Shop would just replenish it, man, that jersey is so hard to get.
By the
Should have
way,
got the All Star one.
don't be mad that there's two New York teams and there's not like Boston Red Sox and like the Cambridge
I
like
just
Cancun's or
uh,
something like.
it's never it's you know what it is it was never like that back in the day. Mets fans never liked the Yankees. Like it just in the 90s, in the 2000s, like the Mets like the Mets and the Red Sox were closer friends than the Yankees and the Mets.
Do
So
we
I
realize
just
Boston's out
it's a
there and
change in
Philly's
the
out
tide.
there? New York's got to stick together.
Adderall's nuts.
Still got to hit the
All
ball.
right, so we'll be right back. When we come back, we're all going to introduce you guys to a game that we're going to play every time, and it's called Who Gets Subbed Out or Who Gets Glorified. So basically, what's going to happen is that everyone has sent me votes of who they think had the worst takes today. And then whoever that person is, they have to go on mute while the other three roast them and their team for 3 minutes. And then the person that got voted gets to come back for only 30 seconds, speak his piece.
It was never it's you know what it is it was never like that back in the day. It was never it's you know what it is it was never like that back in the day. It was never it's you know what it is it was never like that back. It was never it's you know what it is it was never like that back in the day.
All right, and we're back, guys. It's time to figure out who got voted out. So I'm going to read these votes. I'm going to read them epically. All right, ready? So, the first vote is for Ricky. That's one vote.
Gee, I wonder who that could have been.
The second vote
No clue.
is for me. The third vote was for Wolfie.
Bullshit.
And the fourth vote was for me. So I'm going to go on mute. You guys have 3 minutes to do your thing. Fuck you all.
There you go, Rick.
Yo, you know how bad the Nats are? Like, I'm playing MLB one day, and I kid you not, I think I didn't even aim my pitches. I just threw it down the middle every time, and I threw like a two-hit no, like a two-hit shutout against these dudes. I didn't even say, I didn't say high and in. I didn't locate nothing. I just threw everything down the middle and still got a shutout. Like, that's disgusting. That's crazy. That's almost impossible. I've given up home runs to guys with like 20 power, and I'm like nothing, that's crazy.
Yeah. The Nationals are so terrible. And it's so funny. It's like they literally traded every player away. They literally gave Bryce Harper to like one of the guys in their division. They literally have Strasburg walking around in a cast that's like this. And then they're like, "Oh, the World Series, the World Series." Yeah, I'm jealous of you guys doing Baby Shark in the crowd. No, like Nationals are trash. Mets are taking over. No one literally remembers that Rendon's gone. Zimmerman retired because he doesn't want to be there anymore. So yeah. Baby Shark. Yeah, Parra even said I'm getting the hell out of there. So yeah, the Nationals. There you go, Chris.
I'm just gonna say, you know, in the beginning of the show, Saxby said his favorite player was Julio Rodriguez out of nowhere while wearing a Juan Soto jersey. So the only thing worse than the Nationals has to be the National fans and their loyalty to the team, because he just gave up on his favorite player just like that as soon as he got traded away. That's all I'm gonna say.
I stand by my opinion when I said that the White Sox are the Mets, because let's face facts, the Mets are the biggest underachievers, I think, in a very long time. Julio Rodriguez is my favorite player. you know, when you say the Nationals fans, I agree with you because I really, if you guys need a hobby out there, you three included, if you guys really need a hobby, I recommend joining any Nationals fan page and watch the absolute crazy crack these guys smoke. It's actually very entertaining to see because our fan base is, it's either unmarried men who are very grumpy, old women who have no idea what they're talking about, or just those very few people that are young and eccentric and we hate our lives almost. But, you know, being a Nationals fan has been a fun ride. That's what I have to say.
Well, we'll give you 30 seconds. We're all right.
But all right, guys, that was the first episode. I think Ricky's phone.
Yeah, he's out. He's out like a light. He was like, peace.
Just some background. We were basically just like doing all this so before his phone died, it still died. That's funny. But thank you to everyone. If you did get through all this, I'm sure some of you did. The others that didn't, I definitely don't blame you. This was long. This was great though. You missed out.
That's what she said.
But this was a very beautiful start to a very long, great journey that we're gonna have over these next few months, years, however long. Drop some feedback. Follow the Facebook page. Follow the Instagram page. Follow the YouTube page. Follow us like you guys are joining a crusade. Let me get off this. You guys and everyone else have a good night. Let's get it.